Last week, a Georgia school board voting to prohibit the teaching of critical race theory in that district in Georgia, I think Cherokee County. And then I mentioned Oklahoma. I said Friday, but it was actually earlier in the month. The Governor Kevin Stitt, signed into law a bill that prohibits public schools and universities from teaching that, quote, one race or sex is inherently superior to another, end quote, and that, quote, any individual by virtue of his or her race or sex is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, end quote. With me now to talk about this new law is the author of the legislation, Oklahoma State Senator David Bullard. David, welcome to the program.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, Oklahoma leading the way there, joining the states that are addressing this issue. Why did you take this on?
Well, it was brought to me, the language was brought to me, and it was a little rough at first, but I have long looked at this idea of indoctrination that has just infiltrated our schools. I am a former teacher of 15 years. I taught AP U.S. History, AP Government, the Constitution, and I taught the Constitution according to the original intent of our founding fathers. But this kind of stuff has no place in our education system from kindergarten through higher ed. It has no place.
Now, of course, Oklahoma being one of the reddest states in the nation, so it's not a reach for Oklahoma to do this. But nonetheless, does not matter how conservative a state. I grew up in Oklahoma. I know how conservative it is. Louisiana, though, is a conservative state, but the educational lobby is strong. How did they respond to this?
Not well. I was very disappointed in the way that the educational establishment responded to this. Essentially, they came full circle with me. They told me that first that this is not happening anywhere in the schools or anywhere in our universities. Then they came full circle and said, well, we need to be able to teach this in order to teach history. And then they came all the way back to basically, we want to teach this. And so that really revealed a major problem that we have and a need to go toe-to-toe with indoctrination beyond what this is. This is just the most egregious side of what we can see. There are other things happening in these schools right now that we have to go toe-to-toe with them or it's just going to get worse and elevate from here.
Yeah. Yeah. David, hold on just a second. We're going to reconnect with you. Our connection there is a little weak. This is a perfect example of what states are doing across the nation, where you got state legislatures. I mentioned Texas over the weekend, the Senate there approving a measure, goes back to the House to make sure that both bills are the same. That's may already be on the way to Governor Abbott. But what's driving this, and folks, I want you to hear this, what is driving this are parents, are citizens. And so you need to speak out because you've got legislators like Senator Bullard and others, and we've got them in my home state of Louisiana. Every state's got good conservatives, but they need to hear from you and they need your support as they push these measures forward because it's extremely, extremely critical that we address these issues. It's just like the girls' sports bills, where there's states taking up the issues of prohibiting biological males from participating in girls' sports. Overwhelmingly supported by the public, but of course you've got these special interest groups that advocate for this nonsense, and you have the educational establishment, for the most part, filled with individuals who come from a leftist ideology. Senator, welcome back. Let me ask you this. What have you heard since the law or the bill you passed was signed into law?
So we've got a lot of mixed reaction. What's been fascinating to me is the teachers have been the biggest ones to reach out to me and say thank you, because we didn't know where else to go. We didn't know what else to do. So that reaction has given me a lot of confidence that we can do it. We have also had a reaction from higher ed that has basically said, we're going to kind of comply with it, but we're really not going to comply with it. So we are working right now on rules to put some teeth into this so that they have to comply with this. And we've had school districts at the Common Ed level, at the K through 12 level, who basically have said some of the same things. We just won't comply with it. So we are revamping and putting teeth to make sure that, yes, indeed, you will comply with the law of Oklahoma, that you will not indoctrinate our kids.
So are you going to tie it to funding?
That's a difficult question, and that's an excellent question that we're looking at is, do we tie it to funding or do we tie it to licensure? And I'm asking that question as we look at it right now. Do we tie it to a license that says if you're willing to teach this kind of garbage in our classrooms, I don't really think that you need to be in the classroom at all. If you're willing to allow this on your campuses, I don't think that you should be here at all. So we're looking at that right now. Do we tie it to funding or do we tie it to licensure at this point within our law? And I'm still looking into that.
And Senator, one suggestion, having passed similar legislation, not on the critical race theory because it wasn't an issue when I was in office, but compliance is always the big issue. Passing a law is just a fraction of the process, getting people, especially educational establishments, to comply with it. You might want to put out a hotline where teachers, students, and parents can call to report on those schools that are teaching critical race theory. It'll help you out in the process.
Yeah, thank you. We've looked at doing something real similar to that, and that's probably something we're going to do as a parent trigger where they can engage with it for sure.
All right, Senator Bullard, thank you for your leadership there in the Sooner State, and thanks for coming on Washington Watch today.
Yeah, my pleasure. I knew I could tell you were intelligent by being from Oklahoma, so thank you very much.